It was a perfect, sunny afternoon, and Tom was enjoying a rare moment of peace. The garden was quiet, the flowers were blooming, and the soft rays of the sun warmed his fur as he lay stretched out on the grass. The birds chirped in the distance, and the breeze rustled the leaves of the trees. Tom, utterly content, closed his eyes, deciding this would be the ideal time for a long nap. But as he began to drift off, a faint sound broke the silence, a squeaky little giggle. Tom's ears twitched, he opened one eye, and there, right by the garden gate, was Jerry, that pesky little mouse. He wasn't lounging in the sun, no. Jerry's eyes gleamed with mischief as he glanced around at the garden, his nose twitching at the smell of fresh vegetables. Tom's heart sank. He had spent hours tending to his vegetable patch, carefully planting carrots, tomatoes, lettuce, and other delicious treats. And now Jerry was eyeing them like a buffet. Tom could already see Jerry sneaking through the garden, munching on his crops, and causing havoc. Not on Tom's watch. With a dramatic leap, Tom sprang to his feet. Jerry, ever the escape artist, darted behind the tall tomato plants, his tiny feet making barely a sound. Tom tiptoed toward the plants, trying to be as stealthy as possible, but with every step, his tail swished noisily. Jerry, hearing the commotion, peeked out from behind a leafy tomato plant, his eyes sparkling with laughter. He quickly grabbed a ripe tomato, tossed it into the air, and let it drop right onto Tom's head. Thud! The tomato splattered all over Tom's face, and a shocked expression spread across his features. "Not again, Jerry!" he muttered, wiping the juice from his eyes. This was war. Tom grabbed the rake, his eyes scanning the garden, trying to trap Jerry under its wide handle, but Jerry was too fast. With a quick twirl, he zipped between Tom's legs, his tiny body slipping through the spaces with ease. Tom lunged, but his claws only swiped at air. A frustrated growl escaped Tom's mouth as Jerry, now with a carrot in his paw, dashed across the garden with surprising speed. Tom's eyes locked onto the carrot. If he could just get the carrot away from Jerry, he'd win this battle. Tom lunged again, but his claws only caught a pot of flowers, sending petals flying into the air. He spun around, trying to catch them, but in the chaos, he tripped over his own tail, stumbling right into a flower bed. Jerry, meanwhile, was enjoying himself immensely, nibbling on the carrot as he scampered up a nearby tree, using the branches to swing from one to the other. Tom, still on the ground, was a mess of dirt and flower petals. His fur was matted with the remnants of his gardening failure, and he couldn't seem to get back up quickly enough. That's when Tom had an idea. If he couldn't catch Jerry with brute force, he'd have to use his wits. He spotted the garden hose, coiled neatly by the shed, and a sly grin spread across his face. Tom grabbed it and turned on the nozzle, directing the jet of water straight toward Jerry's tree. Jerry, perched on a low branch, barely saw the water coming. He shrieked as the jet of water hit him, sending him tumbling off the branch and landing in a puddle. But Jerry wasn't one to give up easily. As he scrambled to his feet, he grabbed a nearby watering can, quickly filling it with water and turning it on Tom. Jerry then slid across the wet ground with remarkable skill, his tiny paws like a blur. The water from Jerry's can splashed over Tom, soaking him through. Tom slipped and slid, his feet going out from under him. He ended up crashing straight into a pile of garden tools. A rake, a spade, and a trowel all landed on top of him in a heap. Tom groaned, utterly defeated. But just when Tom thought things couldn't get worse, Jerry took his chance. As Tom struggled to free himself from the pile of tools, Jerry slid down a tree, grabbed the last few tomatoes off the vine, and dashed toward the garden fence. Tom, half buried in dirt and tools, watched helplessly as Jerry ran off with his bounty. Tom shook himself free from the pile, dirt flying everywhere, and saw Jerry sitting atop the fence, savoring his victory. With a final cheeky wink, Jerry took a bite of a tomato, waving it at Tom like a trophy. "Better luck next time, Tom," Jerry shouted, then disappeared behind the fence. Tom, soaked, dirty, and completely outwitted, sighed deeply. He glared at the spot where Jerry had vanished, his eyes burning with determination. But for now, it was clear Jerry had won. Tom slumped back down into the garden, the remnants of his once beautiful vegetable patch scattered around him. He sighed and lay down, watching the sun begin to set. knowing that this garden chase would go down in history as yet another hilarious loss in his never-ending battle with Jerry.